So now we're familiar with the way Bitwig deals with plugins and third-party plugins, what it has to offer as far as its own plugins that come bundled with the package, and also where they are and how you can find them and how you can load them up. We can start to think about making our first synth patch and our first custom patch. I'm going to do this in Bitwig's Polysynth because I think it's pretty much the flagship synthesizer of the package. Now I've got an instrument track loaded and I've got my MIDI controller still loaded up and everything. So if we go to plus here, we can go ahead and make a polysynth. And when you do this, it's going to load with a default patch. And some synths load a default patch that's like a saw wave or a sine wave, but a polysynth loads sort of, it is a saw wave and it's panned over to the saw wave, it's mixed over to the saw wave, but there's other stuff going on there. There is some filtering and there is some sort of envelopes, you can hear it in action. And I want something that's actually right back to the drawing board, you know, that's completely initialized. So let's have a look how we do that. And just before we do, I'll show you some of the presets. So if we click open the preset window there, just with this little icon, and we go to the presets, you can see there's like a really big list of presets here, and you can scroll right through them. There's just a massive list. If you want a specific type of, you know, patch, say, let's say we want to look at the basses, and maybe we want to look at specific creators, we can do that, and that's narrowed it right down. So we can narrow down the patches. I'm going to go with any bass creator now, and obviously that's opened it up, but it's still a great way to sort of find specific types of patches. If you click on the list here, you can see that we can just select the category from a drop-down menu from a list, and then we can just select any pad that we want. Now I want to make my own pad, and I want to do it with a sort of a detuned saw wave and maybe add some noise. And then in the next video, we'll go on to add some modulation. But I want to show you how to start off from scratch and start to build a sound. So I'm going to go to any category. In fact, in the category, there is a default section, and that's what I'm looking at, default patches. And then you'll see that in here, you've got 4, what I think are really useful patches. And I'm going to go with default saw. And apart from an unopened filter, as far as I can tell, that's like a really well initialized patch. I probably would close the release. But you know, you can always save that yourself if you prefer to have a specific default or whatever. You can save that in your list and have that ready to go. But here we are in a default sort of state, and I think this is a good place to start when you're building your own patches. Now I want 2 saw waves, and at the minute we've got a square wave in the other side and oscillator 2. So I'm going to take this shape down to 0. Now if you notice, instead of picking specific shapes, so in some sense you might have like a saw and a square and a sine wave, here you do it with like this shape selector. And to get right in the center, you can hit Shift and double click the parameter and it will take it straight to dead center. And that's where I want it to be. I want to have a saw wave in both sides. And if I mix this, you're not going to hear much difference. But I want to detune one slightly. So I'm probably going to go with, say, 7. So I've got sort of a natural chorus effect. Then I'm going to add a little noise, but not much. And then I'm going to start to add resonance. And I'm going to open the amp envelope way up, the attack and release. Now we should have some sort of pad already here. Maybe a bit too much noise there. And I'm going to open the filter slightly. And if you want to make it softer, we're going to open the attack and release even more. So in just a few moves, we've gone from the default patch that we found in the Bitwig presets, and we've sort of gone to a basic pad. Now, once we've got this, I want to start to add some modulation and make things a little bit more exciting to listen to. So that's what we're going to do next. I'm going to show you how to add modulation and start to add some basic LFO movement and get the patch to be a little bit more dynamic. Then after that, I'm going to move on and show you how to save and organize your own patches using the system that we saw earlier in this video.